Folks, before you start the episode, would you like a free case of premium craft beers? Well, we've partnered with Beer 52. They are offering you a free case of 8 unique beers you won't find anywhere else. Beer 52 are the UK's #1 beer club. Every month they visit a different place and expertly curate a case of exclusive beers from the region's best breweries. Your free case will include an eclectic selection of beers from the world's best beer countries, including the UK, Germany and the USA.
If you want to take advantage of this great offer from myself and Tom at Boxing 365 and our new friends at Beer 52, then make sure to use the QR code on screen or the link in the description, and for just the cost of some delivery, you can get yourself a free crate of premium craft beers. Enjoy the rest of the video. Hello everybody, welcome back to Boxing 365 for this, our latest episode of the next card in the deck, which is courtesy of MVP at the Olympia in London, and that is Caroline Dubois and Terri Harper.
Do you know what we don't say enough?
What don't we say enough?
I think we should start saying, welcome back to Boxing 365, joined by me, Dan, and this is Tom. We don't say our names enough. I don't think people know our names.
If you want me to say my name every episode, please let me know.
Also,
yeah, I was talking, so on.
Don't forget to get your free crate of beer. We're currently recording our second episode, which means we have already got a beer open. It's the Nostalgia Porter. I've really enjoyed it. I'm going to be honest. Not told Dan this yet. There's not much left of mine. So, I might open one mid-episode. But use the link. Get your free case. Really good. You can cancel at any time, so there's no commitment required. However, I would genuinely recommend keeping it going because it is a really good service, and you get some really oddball, cool beers. In the interest of honesty, we've had a crate. And we've had one beer that, out of both of us, I weren't that keen on, but you liked. So we've done quite well. And the corn snacks, banging, honestly, so good. But anyway,
that's enough of plugging that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dubois and Terri Harper for a unification bout at World Lightweight. Wow.
I don't like Caroline Dubois anymore.
Yeah, I mean, she has made a bit of a. It feels like made a bit of a stink, made a bit of a fool of herself at times during this build.
She's really pissed me off.
Yeah,
like beyond belief. She's obviously very talented, but I think at some point we sign in with MVP because she weren't like this at Boxer.
No.
And since signing with MVP, I don't know if they've got some sort of press like marketing team that have told her to be a cock. But she's all of a sudden decided she's above a station. Like, yeah, okay, fine, you're a world champion. Right?
Yeah.
But you were upgraded. And I'm not saying she doesn't deserve it, because that'd be a contradiction on what I believe. But you were upgraded. You've not won a world title yet, officially, right? She had the audacity to say Terri Harper. And this is where it comes from, the fact I don't believe it's real. I believe it's bollocks. Sat doing the face-off. And she's like, yeah, but Terri, what have you achieved? And it's like, I'm a 3-weight world champion. Won the belts. Like,
yeah.
And I just think, I'm not saying that Caroline Dubois isn't the more skilled fighter. I think Caroline is probably the overall better fighter. But have some fucking respect. Have a little bit of dignity.
Yeah. I think, like you say, it doesn't do much for, because Terri Harper's, I feel, has got quite a lot of respect from boxing fans, British boxing fans, because of what she's done, especially recently, obviously, when she won a title against Rhiannon Dixon. Rhiannon Dixon in Sheffield. We were there for that. And, yeah, got a lot of respect from British fight fans, I would say.
She's likeable, isn't she? That's the thing. She's a bit of again, it's that people's champion type of thing. She's not above a station. She doesn't necessarily think she's any better than anybody, and she's good.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that annoys me is, yes, she has lost people. All right. So what? But she's proven one was Alicia Baumgardner.
Yeah.
Or the one which, bear in mind, no shame there. And the other was Sandy Riot. At a weight, Terri was nowhere near big enough to be at.
No.
And look, people go, well, she decided to be at that weight. Yeah. And she got beat. I'm not saying she didn't get beat. I'm just saying that the realism of it is she wasn't big enough for the weight.
No.
She dared to do something decent and it didn't work out. She got stopped. She retired in a corner on both occasions. Yeah.
Well, she retired against Sandy Ryan, but she did get She got stopped.
Or was it stopped
Yeah,
against Baumgartner,
I
was
think
it?
so,
Sorry.
yeah, I think so.
But other than that, you look at the people she's shared the ring with and the people she's beat. Not being funny, but even her last two opponents, you've got Zimmerman
Yeah,
and you've got Dixon.
yeah.
Both very good fighters in their own right. And the Rhiannon Dixon fight, I've got to be honest, absolute masterclass from Terri Harper.
Mm,
Yeah, just a little bit annoyed with Caroline. I think a lot of it's fake. I think a lot of it's for clicks and views and all the usual crap. Doesn't suit her.
yeah, I think, like I say, I'm thinking, MVP or whoever has decided, look, you need to try and build a bit of a bigger profile and make yourself a um, bit of stink sort of thing.
Mhm.
So be a bit more controversial, be a bit more of a character, and that helps them with selling shows. It helps this, it helps that. I do think that that's probably what you see, and I think you're right.
Yeah.
So it just seems like it's come out of the blue, or like you say, it's gone to her head a bit. She thinks she's a celebrity.
Well,
I do think she's going to win, though. I do think she's going to win.
yeah, I don't. I
That's
don't.
all right. I'm not. I'm not.
It's
I'm
not
not
all right.
saying it's
It's
going to
not all
be
right
like
because you're a delusional idiot.
okay. Right. I don't think that it's
Everyone's
going to be
going to
like
call me the delusional idiot, and I just want everyone to know that I'm not delusional.
okay.
I have got a lot of things wrong with me, all right? But the voices, they're real.
Yeah.
This result will be real. Even if she loses, in my head, she's won.
Cool.
So that's how it
Can't really
works.
lose
A bit like
that,
Anthony Kakachi. No matter how he wins or when he wins, he's not a winner. All right, the guy's no, I think if you were saying if this fight happened last time out, I'd or the time before, I'd probably edge towards Caroline.
Mm,
Reason being, I think she is very, very, very good.
yeah.
However, there's a couple of things that I think come into play. A, I think she's got started to get a bit too big for her boots, and I think we might have seen that against
Momi Ration.
Bomi Ray sorry. Where second half of that fight, Caroline Dubois' engine was appalling.
Mm,
Appalling. Yes, she won the fight, but it was a shocking performance. Did not look particularly good. When she was poked on that by Terri as well, did not like that.
mm,
Very defensive, very back up against the wall, which fine, I'm okay with. Again, no one likes to be criticised. Then she came out and beat someone who, let's be honest, fine, she should have beat.
yeah.
But she's still got this whole clearly I'm a celebrity now. I just think that from an experience point of view, Terri's took losses, so she ain't scared of losing. She's been and fought on all stages, big shows, small shows, abroad. She's been and done it everywhere. And she'll take this 100% without a shadow of a doubt professionally. I don't think Caroline will, and I think that'll be the difference. I think Harper will frustrate her early. I think it'll be a chess match. I don't think either fighters will look to particularly engage early on. And I don't think there'll be any. I don't think anyone will get stopped. I don't think Caroline will stop.
It's interesting you said that because I was looking and I'd got in my head that yeah, Caroline Bosch, she's quite powerful. She's quite tough, and she is. But I stopped and went, well, let me have a look. And so she's got 5 knockouts on a record, which again you don't really see very many
No.
in generally women's boxing anyway. But they all come in her first 6 fights, and those levels have exposed maybe that can't quite get stoppages at
Yeah.
the highest level.
Which we see on
Yeah,
all
you see that
weights in
see that in
across the sport.
all
Yeah.
in all aspects of the sport. But I'm just saying it's come up, and I think she has dropped fighters, or a couple of fighters near the top of the sort of more recent fights she's been having, top level fights. But it still doesn't necessarily mean that I don't think Terry's necessarily going to be seeing anything new. Just that she'll be seeing another talented fighter in front of her, a bit like fighting a Sandy Ryan or a Baumgartner, where they're powerful too, and they're also highly skilled. So
Terry's been in there. Terry drew with Natasha Jonas,
yeah,
for example. She's not going to be phased by Caroline Bois. Seems to think that she's the biggest, baddest puncher, biggest, baddest fighter that Terry's been in with. And again, this isn't because I'm fucking head of Terri Harper fan club, by the way.
no,
But I just think have a little bit of respect. You're in there with, in my opinion, and I think a lot of the people, including yourself, will probably agree, by far the hardest opponent she's been in with so far.
yeah,
Have a bit of respect, have a little bit of integrity, have a little bit of appreciation for the fact that, you know what, this woman's achieved a hell of a lot in the sport. You're saying your level's above it. Absolutely okay with that side of it, because I probably think from a skill set point of view, you've got a lot of potential.
yeah,
But there's nothing wrong with being a bit gracious about it.
yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind the flipping of the tables and stuff. We were saying last time that I wanted more of that Derek Chisora Wilder of flipping tables and stuff. And that all of it's brilliant. but that's not. It's not always put on. There's a bit more genuinity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, it does. It's when it feels
Just
what you were trying to
screw.
say,
Just
disingenuine
yeah.
from Dubois, where
Yeah.
it does feel put on. If that was a character, I'd be all over it. But
Yeah.
it does feel like
It's like Daniel
it's been
Dubois,
put
isn't it? Like when Daniel's tried to be like that before, and he's
on.
like,
Yeah,
Joel, I'll be your daddy.
yeah,
And it's like, Daniel, you're not like that. Or when he started on AJ, I mean, don't worry, he won that fight, but like he started on AJ, like, come on, Anthony, we'll go now.
yeah.
And it's like, Daniel,
Just doesn't feel
you're not
legitimate.
that
does it?
character, mate. Like, don't play the character. Don't. If you're not the fool, you're not the fool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Be you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Agreed.
So who do you think wins?
I do think Dubois will win, though. I do. I don't picture either fight getting stopped. I don't picture either fight getting.
How close do you think it's going to be?
It'll be a competitive fight. I just think I could see it being a 3-4 round swing.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, don't think it'll be necessarily more than that. I think there'll be rounds for each of them, but I just think the war will be more commanding.
Okay, I'm happy with that. I think Terri will take it. I think experience will pay dividends.
Yeah.
And I think Terri knows how to pace herself through a fight. I don't think Caroline does yet.
I'm going against what I sort of believe in, really, because I've said many times that I feel like experience and your losses say a lot about you, but I
Yeah.
do feel like will
Caroline, by the way, when she's taking it seriously, and I'm not saying we don't know for sure if she is or isn't, but when she's taking it seriously, she's a phenomenal fighter.
Yeah.
So hopefully she's there, she's turned on. It's a competitive fight, like you say, and hopefully the right lady wins.
Mm.
But it'll be Terri.
Okay. The next fight on the card that we'll look at is Ellie Scotney and Mayelli Flores Rosquero for what is going to be an undisputed World Super Bantamweight clash.
Great fight.
Yeah.
God, Ellie Scotney's brilliant, isn't
She is, yeah.
Do you know what? I don't think we used to appreciate her. Like, we've watched her a lot when she was like, with Matchroom, and she'd be on, like, sort of first on TV, or she'd be at prelims and stuff like that. God, she's so good.
You know, to say she's an unified world champion, it does feel like really. I was looking and she defended the 3 belts she held at the time in 2025 twice. Miyamoto in Nottingham in January.
She did.
And then Yamalith Mercado on the Taylor Serrano 3 card.
Yep.
And it's like she never headlines an event. And you think like I know again, I know the women's fight game's a little bit different as well, but she's brilliant, isn't she? And you sort of think she deserves a night under the lights herself, under the big lights herself.
She's still waiting for that dance partner, isn't she?
I think so.
There was talk when Sky, obviously, and they were both with Matchroom, there was talk that that'd be a massive fight, and it would have been.
Yeah.
But obviously Sky went and lost. Ellie's gone to MVP, which I think is good for her.
Yeah,
Personally, I think MVP are brilliant for women's boxing.
100%.
But I just think she's still waiting. We were talking about it last week about
Galazzo? Is that what you're talking about?
no. Well, I think we're on about Fundora, and we said she's still waiting for that elite name on the record.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, for me, Ellie Scotney, skill-wise, is pound for pound right up there in women's boxing as it stands. But because she's not got... And male boxing's exactly the same. Because you've not got that casual name of going...
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's big. She's still not quite recognised at that level. Profile-wise, I think MVP probably need to invest a little bit in regards to building her.
Yeah.
She's not got huge... Casual fans don't know who Ellie Scotney is.
No.
They've heard of Caroline Dubois. Even if they don't think they have, because it'll be like, Caroline Dubois rings a bell. Daniel. Like, do you know what I mean? It's irrelevant to pretend otherwise.
Yeah.
She probably needs a bit of controversy. Get caught drug cheating or something.
You know what they should do is MVP's marketing team should get on her and say, we need you to start calling people names and stuff.
Yeah.
A bit like they've done with Caroline Dubois,
No,
which we've just slated her for.
No. What I mean by controversy, for clarity, is it's nothing, like I say, nothing disingenuous. But I don't know. Maybe start even silly stuff. Like, I don't mind fighters calling fighters out. By the way,
Yeah.
I hate it when they're calling fighters out from all different weight classes. Like when Jake Paul came out as a fucking like he was a super middleweight and was like, "I want to fight Tyson Fury and Usyk on the same night in a tag team event." Like, shut the fuck up, you idiot.
Yeah.
But what, call a few out. call a few out. Ask for the fights.
Yeah,
You
100%.
know, maybe drop a tweet. A bit of beef. I think it does a hell of a lot.
Yeah, a little bit of a war of words sort of
Yeah.
thing.
And
A bit
look,
of
if it's not,
attrition, get things moving.
and if it's not in your character, it's fine. You don't have to do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it. I'm
You
just
can do
thinking.
all that respectfully anyway.
Of course
You
you
can
can.
call somebody out respectfully.
Yeah, you see it all the time. You see it all the time. They'll come out and look
Send
at
them a
the
nice letter.
yeah, some kisses, fiver. Kevin Walsh said it after the Conlan fight. Came out and said, "Right, look, I've proven myself. I've won the fight. I really want the Bruce Shoo Shoo Carrington fight. You don't need to go, Shoo Shoo, you a little bitch. I want to smash your head. You can like, I want the biggest fights. I'm still asking everyone we speak to. I say, can we fight, please?
Yeah.
And no one lets me. It's
No,
dangerous.
Jack agreed, but then he hurt his foot and stuff.
Yeah,
So.
he did. I've told him. He asked me actually. He says I need an opponent for July, and I said, oh, Jack, honestly, you're coming off a loss, mate. Like, coming off a loss, Jack. So you go and get your win back, all right? And me and you will talk later down the line about opponents.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about Scotney, just to mention Rosquero there. She's or Flores Rosquero. Losses. The loss comes to Julian Luna Avila, who obviously recently fought Sky and lost to Sky Nicholson.
Good fighter, Avila, in all fairness, in her own right. She's decent.
Yeah, and I think that was probably one of, or my opinion of this fight is that was one of her only real step ups to that world level, other than more recently when she went on to beat Nazarena Romero to get her WBA title, which of course will be on the line.
Yep.
So not as much experience at the world scene as Ellie Scotney.
This is a routine night in the office.
It feels like it, shouldn't it? I think it'll be a good one to watch as a purist. I think Ellie Scotney should make it look good, but she's got the issue of somebody like Flores Rosquero is probably going to come and try and make it messy, try and get up on her a little bit. I don't think Scotney is going to struggle with that. I think she's used to that. She's a good enough operator, isn't she?
This will be a routine night in the office. I think it'll look good on camera. I think Scotney will probably spend the whole of the fight. I don't think he's going to stop her. I think he'll spend the whole of the fight picking her apart, literally just popping whole shots in her. And I just don't see any way that Scotney doesn't win this. Great little fight. It's good to have her out. It's good to have MVP in the UK. I think it's amazing for women's boxing. Scotney, Terri, Caroline Dubois, Chantel Cameron. Obviously, we'll talk about in a second. Another one that I'm really excited about is Emma Dolan in her first world title fight, which we're going to talk about next.
Yeah.
So yeah, honestly, absolutely brilliant. Hopefully, we can get that big name fight for Ellie next. I'd love to see the Scotney Sky fight. Would absolutely adore that. That'd be amazing for me.
We will quickly talk over a couple of the other fights. We've got Irma Garcia and Emma Dolan, which is going to be for Garcia's IBF World Super Flyweight title. Garcia's 44 years old.
Yeah.
She's been in fight game for a long time. I actually had a look, and I'm sure she was like
2010, I think.
Yeah, but that they don't count. It was like 2010, but that was like a reality TV stuff. That's what it says on BoxRec. Really? It's mad. It says like 6 no contests because it's some reality TV thing.
Weird.
And then start, I think, officially like 2012.
She's proved a decent level, but again, it's so hard women's boxing to measure because you look at it. So she's a 2-time 2-weight world champion.
Yeah.
So right, no one can take that away from her. She's been in 3 other world title fights, and I'm not claiming to be an expert in women's boxing. But I have no idea who any of her opponents were.
No, not really.
Okay. Now the other thing with women's boxing is that up until probably the last 7 years, 8 years, the level and depth of level was poor. It still is in certain weight classes. Like you see it where you're waiting for that big name because the realism of it is the big name don't exist. So winning world titles and competing for world titles, you don't know what gravitas that kind of carries because you don't know what level you've competed at. I really like Emma Dolan. She's super likable. Again, a bit similar to Scotney. She's not got the biggest profile. I'd bet money on it that most of the people listening to me waffle now have got no idea who Emma Dolan is. But she's a British champion. She's a Commonwealth champion. She was the first British champion at her weight class. She's brilliant. She'll go in there, and as long as she's got the power to keep Garcia off her, because this Garcia is going to come there, same as a bit like Flores.
Yeah.
Going to come in there, look to get close, look to work the body, short shots, uppercuts inside. Dolan's and Dolan's not going to want that. Dolan's Team GB. She's going to want 1-2,
Yeah.
jab, move, off at the angle.
Smart and slick. Yeah.
Smart, slick, clever. Pace yourself for the fight, and if at any point you get a hurt, maybe sort of go through the gears a little bit. But it's a tough fight to call because we don't know how good of a world champion Garcia is.
Yep.
But we have no idea how good Dolan is still.
Not yet. No, a few decent wins. Shannon Ryan, Nicola Hopewell, Lauren Parker, some
Yeah.
decent wins at a domestic scene sort of
The
thing.
Shannon Ryan one for me is probably the best measure.
Yeah.
Because also Ryan's a bit of a come forward fighter, and that was a good performance for Emma.
Yeah. But like you say, I mean, you would hope that Dolan's sort of amateur pedigree and technical ability is probably going to be what would get her over the line. But again, against a bit of a veteran in someone like Garcia, you just never know, do you? You just never know. So again, it'll be insightful and hopefully a good win for Dolan to go and pick up a IBF
first world title. And
Yeah.
I love the
At
IBF world
8-0.
title
Well, 9-0.
in the female game. It's pink.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that.
No worries.
I guess.
Should we talk about Chantal Cameron?
Yeah, the last fight that we're all going to talk about. Chantal Cameron and Mikhaila Kotoskova. Everybody else we've managed with really don't feel like I know much about Kotoskova at all.
I don't know a thing about Kotoskova.
This is for the vacant WBO World Super Welterweight title, though. Obviously, Chantal Cameron, probably most recognisable for most fans because of her fights with Katie Taylor. Obviously, was prior to that Undisputed champion anyway.
Yeah.
But those fights sort of probably the highlight of her career, definitely the highlight of her career.
It's weird though, isn't it? Because do you know what, right? Boxing's a weird game. So Chantal Cameron is the only person. There's been close fights in Katie's career. She's the only person to beat Katie Taylor. Then the natural fight, rematch. Big money fight. Yeah?
Yeah.
Lost. In a close fight.
Yeah.
Chantal weren't at the races, is what it is. Left Matchroom, because Matchroom prioritised Katie, which no one ever knows the full story, but alright, we know Katie and Eddie are close.
Yeah.
Went to Queensbury. So I'm thinking, great move by Queensbury here, by the way. You've got the one woman who, bear in mind at that point, she was the talk of women's boxing. You've got a woman in Chantal Cameron who you can headline. Like,
could sell out anywhere, really.
Did not happen. Nothing happened. Went quiet. Spent a bit of time, obviously, with Grant Smith at the Steel City Gym. She's now back with Jamie Moore for the second time because obviously Jamie left Jamie after the Katie Taylor 2 fight. And in a fight against a woman that I've never heard of in my life, if I'm honest. I hope it's routine. There's huge rumours. And again, I don't know how honest or true it is, but there's huge rumours that she's the opponent lined up for Katie Taylor to fight at Croke Park in July, August, which I'll be honest is the perfect opponent.
I think so. There's enough there, isn't there? How can you,
how can you leave it on 1-1?
How can you leave it 1-1?
Yeah.
She fought Serrano 3 times.
Yeah.
How can you leave it 1-1 against Chantal Cameron, who sort of
she's
exposed something that nobody else can expose?
100%. And I don't think it's a coincidence that she's gone back to Jamie Moore. I appreciate she's probably learned that Jamie Moore was her best trainer and they had a relationship and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I just don't think there's a coincidence that as this fight's being talked about, she's gone back to the fighter, to the coach that gave her the game plan to beat Katie Taylor.
Yeah.
And it's a banging fight, may I add. And I don't think it matters at this point in Katie's career or Chantal's what happens with regards to the result. It'd be a huge event for both. Massive payday. Both deserved. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And Chantal Cameron's mum really likes the idea because you comment on our post.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
It's a great idea. Love you, Chantal's mum.
Yeah, thank you, Chantal's mum.
Don't know what her name is, I forgot.
That's so crap of you.
Mandy.
Okay.
Mandy Cameron.
Got you. Your dad, David.
Twat.
Yeah. So, I mean, she has been out a few times, obviously, since that loss to Katie Taylor. She's not been doing nothing. Last fight was at super lightweight. This fight is at super welterweight. Feels
women bounce around, don't they?
Yeah, a little bit more than you would typically see. But yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful that this will be fairly routine for Chantal Cameron. She's an elite enough fighter that it should be. Kotoskova is a WBF World Welterweight champion.
Yeah.
So not not like a
just
poor
look-
opponent in herself, really.
I was just looking at my notes to see if there was anything at all that would give me any indication if Michaela would actually be a contest, but I just
Yeah.
don't see it.
Not particularly, no. But fingers crossed, pick up a WBO title and go and
Like,
go
get your
and
tail.
see what happens after that.
I like
Whether
Chantel.
that happens, who knows? Right, conscious that we should probably move on to the last parts of the card as always. So first from you, please. Who do you think the winners are
Terri
going to be?
Harper,
Terri Harper to beat Caroline Dubois.
Ellie
Scotney.
Scotney.
Jesus Christ. Ellie Scotney.
Yep,
All right. Emma Dolan. Do you think she'll be the winner in that one?
I do.
Yeah.
Comes in as the B side, obviously, but
We're looking a little bit biased here. I'm guessing you're going to think Chantel Cameron
no,
as well.
Koskova.
Yeah.
No, Chantel Cameron. Look, the thing is, I'm not picking it because I'm biased. I'm picking it because the realism of it is
That's who you
that's who I
believe are
genuinely
gonna-
believe is going to win it.
I agree.
There's some other good fights on the card that we're not going to predict. Just want to give a quick shout out. We've got Chloe Watson back out, who very talented fighter in her own right. Shannon Courtney, another good fighter, against Sasha Booker, which could be a good one. You've then also got Elizabeth Ashoba and Gemma Page Richardson, along with a couple of other fighters lower down the card. A couple of male fights on the card right at the start. You've got Harvey Smith and Arjun Bassi out for a little appearances, which, it'll be nice for them.
Yeah, certainly.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. What's going to be the fight of the night?
Main event, 100%, without a shadow of a doubt. So competitive, absolute banger of a fight. And if Caroline turns up, I want the best Caroline Dubois to turn up. Reason being, makes for a much better fight.
Yeah.
And that Caroline will hopefully draw out a better performance from Terri. Absolutely brilliant fight. World class fight.
Should be
World class fight. Top class.
Well
Well done, Jake Paul.
What do you think this card deserves as a rating?
I love it. I think it's mint. It's quality card.
good.
And we're probably going to get some stick for saying this because I think you're going to agree with me. I think it's a 9.
Yeah, I was stuck between the 8 and the 9.
Should we do 8.5?
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
8.5.
You probably miss against them other 4 fights. You probably miss the opponents.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing for me. Yeah, I think 8.5.
6.
Probably 8.5 is about right. Let's say then
8.5.
Let's say 8.5. But we're going to move on to the Rate the Robot.
I can't remember what Rate Robot said on this.
It disagreed with us on one fight, or disagreed with you on one fight.
Main event.
It agrees with me. So Dubois to beat Harper, Scotney to defend their titles. Dolan to win and Chantel Cameron to win.
Yeah, I can see that. See it all.
100%.
Great card of boxing.
Amazing card of boxing. So make sure to watch it is the message from us. Make sure to get your cans of beer.
Subscribe.
Check out our Instagram, TikTok, and we will see you all on the next video.
We will. See you later, guys.